Labour candidate. And that unfortunately has been our downfall. Party politics. All the parties have been taken over by the same financial forces. I'd say that the Labour Party ceased to be the party it was at its foundation the day it got elected. And the BNP is going the same way. Because when you're a party like us, which is idealistic and wants to do something for the ordinary people, and the power is likely to go to the ordinary people, the bankers and their comrades who control the political show are not just going to hand it over. And I can imagine the Labour Party being approached in the same way the BNP is today, by the forces who the money lenders are in control, and they'll be saying to the Labour people, yes, we think you've got some good ideas, and of course, if you belong to the Labour Party when it was first founded, you'd lose your job. It was similar to being in the National Front today. And there was suddenly a switch around just before the party got elected, when they would have been approached by our enemies with the money and said, you know, we think you've got some good ideas, but you're not going to get elected without our help. You know, we can get you the publicity, we can get you the money, we can get you public halls and speakers who would win for you elections. But your candidate here, Joe Blows, who's been working hard for your party, I think if we was to put one of our people in, who's been to Oxford and speaks well and can put the case much better, and he can answer the press, I think he should stand something. And the Labour Party would have been taken over and become as useless as the rest. And we can see the BNP now being persuaded, well, if you take this out and if you water this down, if you let foreigners into your country, then we won't be as hostile when it comes to dealing with the press. You know, we'll let you be interviewed on television, provided you accede to this and that. So they water their policies down, thinking that when they get elected, they'll revert to their original. But this is what the Conservatives have been saying for the last 50 years. Oh yeah, we're really patriotic. We really think like you. When we're in power, but no, they won't, because the Tory party's kicked out of things like that. Even Enoch Powell, who was the most educated, the most intelligent, the most capable, the most popular man in the country, from across the board, spectrum of businessmen and workers, his views were not going to be tolerated in the Conservative Party, and he was kicked out. And Margaret Thatcher was selected, on the understanding that she did as she was told. She was not political, but then Prime Ministers never are. The Bilderbergs decide who's going to be Prime Minister. There's usually somebody who's not bright, has no political knowledge, but is ambitious. Tony Blair fits into that whole idea. Harold Wilson, we'll go back to Wilson, surrounded by people who knew exactly where they were going. Wilson was politically naive. I met his cousin while I was in holiday in York, and she said, yes, Harold could never make an important decision. He sought his mother's advice on everything. Yeah, that's Harold, that's the sort of people that they like to run and stuff. Heath, again, not political. I'd like to know what he was doing at the Nuremberg rally just before the war. Anyway, Heath, total dummy. He got a £200,000 backhand from one German industrialist alone for signing the Treaty of Rome, taken into Europe, with which he bought London Cloud, smuggling something. Then we have Margaret Thatcher, not in the mould of the people they usually pick to be Prime Minister. She was overwhelmed by the position. She was like Blair, totally overawed by the people with the money who would get things done. She was elected in Finchley, which is Barnet, which is part of my borough. And anyone who knows that area knows that you've got to be completely subservient to the Jews, and totally Jews, not to get very bad publicity and never get elected. She was president of the Finchley Friends of Israel Society, and she was prancing around with the peacock with a sari trying to get elections into the Conservative Party. She was doing all that they wanted. They used her to get rid of Galtier in the Argentine in order that the IMF could take over and bankrupt the country and put them in poverty, for example. And then, after a while, taking us deeper into the EU, it suddenly occurred to her that it wasn't a good idea. That may be a lucky point to get her. Not exactly completely full. Anyway, she started to mutter that we shouldn't lose our sovereignty in Europe. And she was warned by Bill Burgess, who put her in the office, that she mustn't say such things, otherwise she'd be replaced. At that time I lived in Aylesbury, just around the corner from Rothschild, and it was published in our local Aylesbury newspapers that Rothschild had summoned, that was the word used, he had summoned the Prime Minister and the French Prime Minister to Waddesdon Manor under high security to discuss Euro money and our full entry into the EU. Must be outside the Prime Minister, wasn't it? But anyway, Rothschild came. And she was still saying that we shouldn't lose our sovereignty in Europe. There was a meeting of part of the Bilderberg group, Henry Kissinger, the Oppenheimers and the Rothschilds in an island of Spain, where they plotted her removal. They said that she would be got rid of by saying that they were blaming for all the problems in the previous 5 years, and so the Conservative Party would not be elected while she was leader. And 7 months later they did exactly that. They had a vote to decide whether she should remain Prime Minister, which was not necessarily part of the Constitution. She got more votes than anyone, but she was removed, and John Major was put in on the understanding he signed the Maastricht Treaty. So that's the kind of political shenanigans that we're up against. You know, very wealthy people. The thing that we've got on our side is that our country, it's our right, and we have every right to defend our own country. Apparently, the Labour, Liberal and Conservative Party call this extremism. Since the dawn of time, every nation's defended its own people, its own family, its own borders, and now we're told that that is extremist. And so brainwashed to the British public that I'm just not in agreement. Yes, it's extremist, we mustn't take National Front with extremists. But we know we're right, we've got a battle on our hands. They're bringing foreigners in, and they are propelling those foreigners into positions of authority above us, where we now got foreigners dictating to us how we can and can't behave, race relations, board is there, set up by aliens. Aliens can look over us and tell us how we can behave in our country. The whole thing has got to be got rid of, and we've got to get Parliament back into our control. And that's an uphill battle that we've really got to fight. It's going to take far more energy on the part of our members and enthusiasm to get it done. When you think the plan for the destruction of European civilization took place in Russia in 1896, where they said they would bring into the European countries millions of Africans and Asians. They would promote the Negro in the field of sport and entertainment and give them a feeling of pride. At the same time, they give a feeling of guilt to how we so-called downtrodden. They would encourage intermarriage between the dark and the white races to breed out the whites, and they get the whites involved in wars and revolution wherever possible it gets killed off. Now, if you were told that to someone 100 years ago, they would have thought, no, it never happened. Well, it is happening, and we see it. And it's not about it, it's just happening by chance. It's not a fluke. It's happening because a number of people sat down determined to make sure it was going to happen. Now, there's a downside more of us. We're going to decide that it isn't going to happen, and we're going to put all our effort in and expose these people and expose their plan. And we also get, surprisingly, a certain amount of support from foreigners in this country, Greeks and Poles, Spaniards, because they are in a similar position. Because when the plan was laid down, it was a plan for world domination, which meant the destruction of all races, cultures, creeds and religions. And we can now witness the attack on the Muslim. We note that the invasion of Iraq, where the attacks wiped out electricity and water supplies to the hospitals, is where it is. The Yanks were more keen to get the television put back in, which the Iraqis have got out because it was a subversive element. And the Muslims in this country are complaining about the way their families are corrupted, the way their children are behaving in a bad way, which